cuff, as we say. 2.5 billion, 780 million, 443 million, 200 million, 3.4 million, 4,100, 3,280, 575, 20, 15, 10, 6, and 5. Mrs. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest. These are the numbers that the world looks at when they look at water. Today we're going to look at how these numbers affect us, even though we might not be aware of it. We're going to look at how it has changed my life and some ways that we potentially can get involved with water. Now the first number, 2.5 billion, really doesn't have to do with drinking water. But it more has to do with the fact that, do you realize that there are more mobile phones in the world than there are toilets? But that is a very important thing, because sanitation is one of those areas that is essential to making sure that we don't have waterborne diseases. Now the fact that there are actually 1 out of every 8 people do not have access to clean drinking water. 780 million people. Out of those 780 million people, they actually take a drink of that. That is very, very sad. Because there's a fact that happens that out of that 780 million, there's actually 443 million school days that are lost from children that contract diseases based upon waterborne diseases, based upon the World Health Organization. Do you realize that out of that 200 million working hours are used every single day to collect water and to bring it back to the villages and then to purify it? Do you realize that that 200 million, let me give you a scope of what that means. Out of 200 million working hours per day, do you realize how many Empire State Buildings we could build for 200 million working hours? 28. We could build every single day 28 Empire State Buildings based upon the amount of time that people use to collect water. The average length of space or time or distance that is used is around 3,280, which is basically a kilometer. Because what's been determined by the World Health Organization is that 20 liters of water is what's necessary for proper drinking and personal hygiene that every single person needs per day, 20 liters, which is basically a jerry can. A jerry can weighs about 44 pounds, and that's what is used traditionally to transport water back and forth. Now, if you include bathing and laundry, that number jumps up to around 50 liters per day. Now, there's an organization that I work with called 20 Liters. And in that, we have gone into an area in Rwanda. And we have found that the average Rwandan uses around 5 liters of water per day. Now, the average American, 575 liters of water is used per day. What does that equate to? 3.4 million. There are 3.4 million people that die per year based upon diseases that they have contracted from water-related. There are more people that die from water-related diseases than war and major crimes combined. The effect is that every single day, 4,100 children die from a disease that they've contracted from water. In fact, it happens every 20 seconds. In the length of time of my speech today, 15 children will die from a disease that they've contracted from not having clean drinking water. How's that affected me? It's affected me in the fact that I've gone to a couple, maybe some people might call it extremes. But when I take a shower, I get in, I wipe myself down, takes maybe probably 35 seconds, even with warming up the water. Shut it down, lather, and then turn back the water on. Water's probably running for less than a minute. I've even gone to an extreme just to bring a connection to those people that are around the world, is that I actually take my dishwater and I use it to flush my sanitation. dirty anyways. Why do I put clean water to do something? I know those maybe are extremes, but the importance is it gives me an awareness that every time I drink a water, that there is somebody out there that doesn't have access, and so what can I do? Well, you realize that an organization of 20 leaders has actually created what's called a biosand water filter. And we take these and we place these in homes in Rwanda. And one biosand water filter can give a family of 6 clean drinking water. Take this, run it through it, and you'll have this for 10 years. Think the effect of what we could do with the amount of people and change that statistic from 3.4 million and decrease it. Now, what can you do? We have 22 members here at Lunch Bunch Toastmasters. If every one of us put $5 towards a biosand water filter, we would be able to provide a family clean drinking water for the next 10 years. So they don't have to worry to wake up and become one of those